Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the second edition of ScaleUp Summit. I'm Sanjay Sindhwani, CEO of Indian Express Online Media Company, and we are also a small medium enterprise, so to speak of. This program is very close to my heart because I believe that the MSME sector can make a big difference to the economy and GDP of this country. I myself come from a family of entrepreneurs and businessmen, so I'm pretty familiar with the challenges the sector faces. As my colleague just mentioned, less than 0.6% of the MSMEs are in the medium and small sector. Rest are mainly micro. And while driving to this venue today, I was thinking, why is it so? Why are micro enterprises not able to scale up to the small and small to the medium? And I think the challenges are many. Some probably have been resolved in the last few years, others still remain to be resolved. And to my mind, I think formalization of the business practices was one major reason. And my first job, I was just narrating this story, was to sell billing machines, and this was almost 30 years ago. So I used to go to retail markets, go from one shop to the other, trying to sell these billing machines, which are omnipresent today. And the biggest challenge or the question I used to hear from the people running the show was, boss, I don't want to have accounting. Whatever sales tax team comes and raids and finds out how much sale do I do, right? Because the whole business was largely running in an informal setup. So, of course, as a product company, we had solutions to that. There was a button which you could reset the transactions, by a mere press, and all transactions would vanish. But the fact was, people were not willing to adopt accounting and automation for the fear because the whole setup was running largely in an unaccounted format. But if you want to grow, then you need to have formalization of business, which means you have to let go of things, which means you have to have control processes in place where you can trust others. The second challenge that I foresee is where people are not able to scale up is small businesses typically have very few impediments to a replication model. So you want to keep things in control, you want to keep things close to your heart, and you don't want to let go of things. So there's a challenge. If you don't let go, then you cannot grow because you have to build a team, you have to let other people take care of responsibilities, and that's how you grow business. But if you don't have a moat, then it becomes a challenge. And if you don't have a control system, which a cash economy made it very difficult, but as the government pushes for formalization, I think that problem is largely getting resolved. I see a lot of people in my own family who've kind of moved now to a formalized system of accounting. They have cashiers sitting on the cash counter. Even in the retail setup, the owner is not sitting on the counter or right up there, at the gate. He's probably created an office on the second floor and sitting there, maybe has CCTV cameras to monitor what's happening. But they have moved, and they've moved in a positive way. And there are others who haven't. I've also seen the ones who have not given up on the old ways, where probably the next generation has not stepped in, where we still see the old ways of doing business and they are not growing. They're kind of still stuck in the paradigm somewhere. So I think that's my view of the situation. I don't know because I've moved on to a professional life. So this is what I see, this is what I observe. But I believe that the SME sector is poised for a great future. As we move to large-scale manufacturing, shifting here, we'll see a lot of business actually pass on to the small sales sector from the large enterprises. So when large enterprises come and they set up shop, essentially a lot of small work, a lot of contractual jobs, a lot of ancillary work will flow down to the SME sector, and probably there's a lot of opportunity there. I won't keep you away from the panels we have today. I'll quickly walk you through what we have in store. So we have Shri Gaurang Dixit, Chairman and Managing Director of National Small Industries Corporation as a chief guest today. He'll be sharing his thoughts about the initiatives being taken by NSIC around fostering the growth of MSMEs in the country. We also have our keynote by Shri T. Koshi, MD and CEO of the Open Network for Development Digital Commerce, ONDC in short, and what it means for the MSME sector. I think that's again a very interesting concept. It could revolutionize the way we do commerce in this country. And It could open up new avenues for the MSMEs to sell their goods and services. Our first panel will delve on the specific issues of SaaS implementation in small businesses. This is again, I think a lot of you might be using SaaS for your GST filings, where you're buying a software or a piece of application on a rental basis, where you don't have to take care of setting up servers or computers to run those services. I think software as a service is again something that's very, very conducive to formalizing and putting processes in place for MSMEs. As a professional who runs a small or medium enterprise, we use these very effectively. It doesn't lock us down to one piece of software. We keep changing from one piece of software to the other as we evolve, see better products coming into the market. There's no commitment because there's no upfront cost. You only pay for what you use. As you scale up, the products can scale up. And as you scale down or your consumption goes down, your billing comes down. So I think SaaS is again a very important way on how to build your business processes. Of course, no scaling up conference can be complete without talking about the access to capital. So we'll cover that in the subsequent sessions. I'm also very intrigued by the masterclass we have on smart financing by a young entrepreneur himself. This probably will help us understand what are the alternate ways of leveraging data to make financing easier. And without taking any further time, I would like to invite Shri Gaurang Dikshit ji on the stage for his opening remarks.